First, extend the awning out. If the awning is not operational, this can be achieved by removing the rubber cap on the front of the drive head and using a drill with a 7/16 socket to extend the awning. Once the awning is extended, remove the wire cover on the outer arm by popping it out of the channel it rests in. With the cover removed, unplug the power harness from the motor pigtail. Next, remove the wire cover from the underside of the inner arm and then pull the wire through the pivot point of the outer arm and inner arm. Feed the wire up and over the pivot point between the inner arm and mount arm, and then proceed to remove the wire covers on the mount arm if the wires are coming out of the unit at the bottom of the mount arm. If the wires enter at the top of the mount arm, follow the next steps in that location instead. Pull the wires coming from inside the unit out until the connection point between the power harness and unit wiring is exposed, and disconnect the power harness from the coach wires. Then connect the new power harness to the coach wires and feed them back into the unit. Be sure to seal this location up appropriately when you are finished to prevent moisture intrusion. If feeding the wires from the bottom of the mount arm, feed them up the mount arm and be sure to go around and not behind where the pivot arm and mount arm meet. Proceed to feed it back up and over the pivot pin where the inner arm and mount arm meet after that. If feeding your harness from the top of the mount arm, simply proceed to feed it back up and over the pivot pin where the inner arm and mount arm meet. Once you finish feeding the wires over the top of the mount arm, follow the bottom of the inner arm and be sure to go around and not behind the gas strut. Then, feed the harness through the pivot point where the inner and outer arm meet and run it up towards the motor pigtail. Reconnect the wire harness to the motor pigtail and then begin retracing your steps with wire covers. Start with the covers on the outer arm, working your way back up the inner arm and then down the mount arm. Be sure to inspect each length of wire to be sure it is properly secured and not routed in place where it could rub or be pinched. When finished, retract the awning and replace the rubber plug at the top of the drive head.